TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Was there any kind of politics played by WWE referees like Earl Hebner?
Well, when we first went over?
Yeah.
No, not really. Everybody kind of messed with one guy, but he had it coming.
Who's that?
A kid named Billy Silverman.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he just did a lot of silly little things and not paying attention. He got ribbed too hard, and then it was just ribbing.
What were some of the ribs they did to him?
Lock his bag to ball and chain, and he did something ridiculous, and they made him serve drinks to all the guys on a charter flight, and nothing really bad,
right?
Nothing really nobody beat him up or did any kind of nasty stuff to him, but he couldn't take a rib at all, and it was my first WrestleMania. We were in Toronto, and we were supposed to meet down in the lobby and take off and go to the building, and I'm waiting. Where is he at? And I finally go in. Oh, he's checked out. He checked out this morning at 5. And I was like, he checked out?
Right.
Well, where the hell did he go? And he couldn't take it. He went home.
What were some of your thoughts on Charles Robinson?
Oh, hell, we go back a long ways. Charles is a good guy. He's gung-ho. When he first started, Randy Anderson had him ironing shirts and pants and had poor Charles running around like he was his damn gopher. And then finally Charles said, "That's enough. I'm not going to do that no more." He stood up on his own 2 feet finally, and he's a good guy. I got a lot of time for Charles. Real good guy.
What are your thoughts on some of the other refs, like Mickey J and Hanson?
Mickey J, a good friend of mine. And, I have to give him a shout out because he's fighting right now, and he's been sick, and he's right now he's in a pretty big fight. So everybody send out their prayers for old Mickey J. He's a good guy.
Was there any competition or jealousy among the refs?
Which group? I mean, I've been in a bunch of different groups.
Right, let's talk WCW.
WCW. No, not really. No. Because it was mainly Tommy Young at first, and then me and Randy Anderson. Randy Anderson and I always got along real well. Good. And then Brian Hildebrand came, God rest his soul, and we got along real good. He was a good friend of mine. But in WCW, everybody was pretty much a team. Pretty much the same way, in WWE too. I would have to say, the refs pretty much stick together. I'm sure there's a few that would probably go behind your back, maybe and say something. But as far as to your face, everybody was pretty much straight up. I never had a problem with anybody.
Did you feel as a referee that it was your job to maybe sell some of the stuff that was going on inside the ring with your facial expressions and stuff?
That is a referee's job, without going over the top.
Right, exactly.
You don't want to try and, you don't want to be ridiculous with it. And sometimes we were a little bit ridiculous with it back in the early 80s, but you learn to tone it down and not to be, referee is a timing thing. You want to be noticed, but you want to be noticed at the right time. And you don't never want to ever overshadow the workers in the ring, ever. You don't want to ever upstage them unless it's designed to be that way.
Right.
And seldom is it ever designed to be that way.
Unless you turn heel.
Yeah.
What were some of the demands, I guess, that each guy has put on the referees as far as like the bookers?
As far as demands, as far as what? I don't understand the question.
I guess your role in the company as far as a referee, did any of the guys ever ask anything different of you, or was it pretty much the same?
No, it's pretty much the same across the board. You just do your job, and your job as a ref is to help them enhance their match and help them to get over.
Right.
So you will work differently with one guy than you do with another. Say for instance, I'm working with somebody in WWE, and I'll be more aggressive and I'll be the boss. But then if I'm working with the Undertaker, all you got to do is look at you and you got to run out of the ring.
Right.
So you have to work differently with different people. You have to adjust your style to their styles. That's your job as a ref, is to adjust to them, not them adjust to you.
Who are some? I guess some people think it's easy to be a ref. What are some of the harder aspects of the job?
You got to know the psychology. You got to be able to fit in with different guys, different styles. So you have to have ring awareness. You have to know where the cameras are, so you're not getting in the way. There's a lot of little things. The hardest thing is learning to read guys and what they want and what they expect from you when you're in the ring. Without them saying, "Hey, do this." When you get good and you get used to working with people, they can give you a look, and you know what they want just by that look, and that's when you know you're experienced and you're smooth and you're at a top level, when you're able to do that with top guys.
Right. We'll talk about that later on in the interview, definitely. I guess, was learning to ref a difficult task?
No, it didn't seem to me. I had good teachers. I was in a good place. I started in a smaller place, and then I went, to get some experience, get the butterflies out, and then Georgia Championship was, at the time that was one of the big territories, and so I was a little nervous going there, but after I did a few TVs and started getting acquainted with the guys and stuff, I just was off and flying then.
Who are some of the guys that you found difficult to work with in the ring?
That's hard to say because I fit in with everybody. I felt like I fit in with everybody because there's so many different styles. Sometimes the guys that just were meat cutters, beating and cutting and blah blah blah. And there was the wrestling styles. You just had to treat each one individually. According to what their gimmick was. And I don't recall really ever having a problem adjusting to anybody's different style.
Can refs from the Indies, I guess, make a successful transition into WWE?
Yeah.
I guess, what is the most misunderstood part about being a WWE ref?
The most misunderstood part?
I guess if there's like one key point, if someone's trying to break into the business to be a referee, what advice would you give to them?
I don't think they realize how hard the schedule is. And because for me to try and get back in right now, that would be the one thing that would be hard for me after my back surgeries, because I feel like I've become strong enough to do a lot of the in-ring stuff. I mean, there's certain things that I would be scared to do. I ain't got nobody putting me through no tables or no stuff like that because I can't no more.
Right.
But as far as that goes, now the in-ring stuff was it's fun, but you have to be careful, especially like now with my back. There's certainly certain things I won't be able to do, and I can do the psychology part, but like I said, the travel for me right now to get on an airplane for 2 or 3 hours. When I get off an airplane, I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
And I could imagine being on an airplane for 14 hours in the middle seat and coach going to Australia, getting off and dragging 100 pounds of luggage to the bus for another 2-hour ride to get to a hotel and check in and go to a show. That's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard when you're young and healthy. Hell, I'm 48 years old and I've had 5 surgeries now. And this last one was a tough one. The back surgery, this has been the hardest one for me to come back from of all of them.
I guess, was the travel the hardest thing for you?
Yes. Being away from my family. Being away from my kids, that was the hardest part.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.